All right, boys, we got 5 categories, the maybe category being the biggest. But these are the guys that I'm like, maybe could win one, maybe couldn't. It's kind of like an honorable mention. The other ones I feel like are guarantees, the maybes not so much. I'm going to show them all here at once. Let's start from the top left, Jimmy Butler. Now, Jimmy Butler, that might be a hot take, but we saw Jimmy Butler make the finals twice. I know he wasn't great in the playoffs last year, but I'm going to give Jimmy his credit. I'll give him one more year, and then after that, I'm done. Trae Young's a guy that's a maybe. I think Trae Young's better than Tyrese Halliburton, but we just haven't seen him have as much playoff success as Halliburton did last season. I think LeBron and KD, I'm going to group together. Got to put them here because of the respect. I just don't know if they're still there yet. Now, Wembanyama is an obvious one. I think Wembanyama can anchor the number one defense in the NBA at any given moment. So I feel like number one defense, you can win a championship. But I felt weird putting Wembanyama and not putting Cade because I think Cade Cunningham is a better basketball player right now. And although they didn't make it out the first round, the Pistons did give the Knicks some problems. And I think if you built an even better team around Cade Cunningham, then yeah, he can make it. And speaking of the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, I just think there's not a better go get a bucket guy in the NBA other than him and maybe Shea. I think having an instant offense guy like that, if you could put a good defense around him, then you could win a championship. Paolo's a guy that I don't think has shown anything really to be here yet, but I do think that his team isn't built well around him right now. So I'd like to see him in a different structure around him. And I think if that happens, then he can win a championship. And the last guy's Ant. Ant just kills in the playoffs. He always has playoff success, constant playoff success. So it's hard to not put him here. But let's head into tier 1. These are the guys that you guys shouldn't have a problem with at all. I don't want to hear any conversations about these tier 1 guys. And the first one being Shea. Obviously, perfect team was built around him this year. They end up winning the finals. Simple. The second guy, Tatum. Right? We've seen the Celtics win a championship with a perfect team around Tatum, so we know that can happen. The next guy is Joker, current Joker. I mean, you could argue is the best player in the NBA right now, so you got to give him his credit. And the last guy is Giannis. These 4 you shouldn't have a problem with. Giannis, you could even argue is the best player in the NBA. Dominant offensively, dominant defensively. And he just hasn't had any good team built around him since the championship run, so I'm going to give him his credit as well. Now let's go into tier 2. Okay, now we can start having some conversations. Now I'll break it down a little bit more for you guys. And the first guy is Luka. Luka, to me, is a tough one because he has had the playoff success. He made the finals, obviously. But it's a little bit weird. His style is kind of hard to build around. It's similar to that Trae Young style that we were talking about. But Luka, I got to put him here because he's a better player. And he's 6'7", so it's not like the Trae Young where it's just he could get bullied. He did get picked on in the playoffs this year. And I think I would like to see a little more from Luka before I put him in that tier 1, top tier. And I don't think we're going to see that next year because I don't think the Lakers have built a perfect team around Luka. But I do think if you put a bunch of defense and shooting around Luka, then that team is going to win a championship. The next guy is Stephen Curry. You got to give him the flowers, man. This guy hoops. Rain or shine. The Warriors definitely could have made a run last year if he didn't end up getting hurt. So I got to give Steph Curry his flowers. They obviously won a championship recently too. I just had to put him in tier 2 because he's a little bit older. Let's go into the lower tier. Now I'm kind of reaching, okay? These are kind of my reaches. And the first guy is Tyrese Halliburton. Look, you can't hate. You can't I was knocking this guy all playoffs, but this guy made the finals with his team. I don't know if he was so-called the best player. You could call Siakam it too, but I would probably put Tyrese as the best player. We've seen him make the finals. We've seen him have playoff success multiple times. So I'm going to give Tyrese his flowers. Devin Booker is a guy that I think you definitely I would love to put him tier 1, tier 2, but we just haven't seen enough of it. He made the finals in 2021, which is damn near 5 years ago now, So it's hard to kind of say that that's a guaranteed he could have that final success. But Devin Booker is just one of them guys that I think if he doesn't have another playoff run in him in his career, he's going to get criminally underrated by the next generation because Devin Booker, he's a straight-up killer, man. 70-point game at 2021, real life killer. One of the best buckets in the NBA, one of the most underrated buckets in the NBA. Efficiency. We've seen playmaking potential from him. Now, I don't think this team is going to be successful next year, but I think we got to give him a little bit of credit. And I think if they built a perfect team around him, they could do it. And I feel like we're getting there with Phoenix because of the addition of Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks. Like, it's not about the fit. So right now for Phoenix, it's about getting a lot of guys there. And once they get 9-10 guys on that roster in that tier, then I think this team is a competitive team. Donovan Mitchell's the last guy I have in this tier. Now, this guy is a playoff riser. I think that series versus Indiana. Yeah, Indiana this year, we had the back-to-back 40-point games. It's just so impressive how this guy constantly steps up in the playoffs, especially closing in on the finals. Like, I just need to see him get there, man. I think he had a great team. The team was injured going into the playoffs last year. It was definitely tough, but I'm going to give Donovan Mitchell his credit because he is a playoff riser, and I think he's one of the more underrated players in the NBA as well. I mean, everywhere this guy has gone, they've been successful. In Utah, they were the 1 seed. He goes to Cleveland. Sure, they have the rough year the year before, but they were pretty beat up, and then when they're healthy, they win 64 games. I think this team is going under the radar next season because they could be a 65, 66. They could be one of the top teams in the NBA. You know, as a Thunder fan, they were one of the only teams I was scared of going into the playoffs. They didn't make it, but you got to give them their credit, man. But you guys let me know, where am I tripping? Did I miss a player that you think could be the worst player on a championship team? I feel like people online had a lower bar. I've seen Jaylen Browns, I've seen Tyler Heroes, and I don't think that's a realistic thing because, like, a Jaylen Brown built team, you need that, like, certified guy, and I think I've hit all the certified guys here. But you guys let me know. I guess Jaylen Brown, I'm going to have to prove it to me this year with Tatum out. But you guys let me know in the comments down below, where am I tripping? Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, but most importantly, run the play.